slept with many men. Now, what do you say to your mother? I was like, have you slept with many men? She's like, no, just one. And I was like, I got you beat.
I was just yelling at a puppy for no reason. Hello, everyone. This is Shelly Colman. This is the Funny Women of a Certain Age podcast. And you caught us in the middle of a discussion about shopping at Costco. You just heard the lovely and talented Marla Schultz, who is joining us from, where are you, Marla?
I'm in New York City, Upper East Side.
Oh, and Leighann Lord, who is in Queens, and I am in Brooklyn. So we got the 3 of the 5 boroughs represented.
No,
So we were talking about Costco. I've never been. Talk to me about Costco. Why should I go there?
Leighann, do you want to take this?
Well, I can tell you that I was a former Costco shopper, and I was there because I used to shop for the family, and then it was just me, and I didn't see the point. And then 2025 rolls around, and people want to make certain proclamations about whether or not they will be supporting diversity, equity, and inclusion. And Costco went, nope, we are standing by our people. And I said, you know what? Let me dust off my Costco card and buy some stuff in bulk that I instead of shopping twice a month, now I shop once a month. I'll do that. And I will tell you, while I cannot get everything there, $4.99 for a whole ass chicken, that'll get me in the door.
And that is,
Because in the hood, it's $8.
Okay.
here it's 12 on the Upper East Side.
See?
Wow.
See? Yeah.
I'm an avowed Costco shopper, and I get the best clothing. I got a jacket that I took to Alaska, an underline for like $15.99. I found my husband pants. I mean, the bargains. We go through paper towels. I get wee pads for $17.99, $100.
No, wait, that's not also for your husband, right?
Actually, no, it's not.
Not yet.
Okay. So you get pet stuff there also. So now we have to segue into pets because I have 2 small dogs with me today, and one of them was alerting, as we like to say, or just barking her little head off because of all the noise outside and anyone in the hallway, and the fact that I haven't given her a treat in 8 seconds. And the other one has been totally silent because she is looking for anything she can possibly snarf up off the ground.
That's what my dog does.
Yeah.
My husband likes to dabble in recreational 420 flower, whatever you want to call it. And he had a pre-made one in a little plastic thing. And my puppy comes running out with it in the plastic in the mouth. And my husband's like, where the hell did she find that? And the dog comes trotting out like, hey, anybody got a light?
She actually got into the bodega on the corner. She didn't steal his stash.
Nope. There you go.
Yeah, she has a relationship with the bodega cat, and the cat is like, hey, let me hook you up.
There you go. I just want to say thank you for having me on.
Oh, sure. I've been just for our vast audience of humans. I have been trying to get Marla Schultz on this podcast for has it been 3 months now? And just with everybody's schedule and things happening and dogs and cats and airplanes and whoever knows what all else, we finally got you, and I am delighted. And so is my little dog in the background cheering. So Marla,
it's about time.
Exactly. So Marla, you are a funny woman of a certain age. And I was looking at your website because that's what I call doing research. And one of the things that I saw that I did not have a chance to look at was you as an accidental advocate. What are you an advocate of, and how did it happen by accident?
Well, I'm about being a patient advocate, particularly for parents. And Leighann and I have a lot in common. My mother was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in 2018. Stage 2. And ironically, my mother was grants manager at Cold Spring Harbor Laboratories in Cold Spring Harbor on Long Island. And they do a ton of research with the Lustgarten Foundation for pancreatic cancer. And my mother was in charge of grants, and that's what propels all of the research. And so when my mom told me she was diagnosed, let me just put a pin in that. My best friend, brother from another mother, died from the same adenocarcinoma, pancreatic cancer, 5 years prior. So I kind of had a meltdown as I'm returning a rental car at LAX. And I just said to her, let me be your advocate. And there was a long pause. And my mother said, okay. And I took the responsibility of research, dealing with the doctors, just making sure that she could just be focused on healing and pretty much saving her life without having to deal with, United Healthcare and all the crap. And, you know,
Oof.
her chemo was covered, but the port wasn't. I mean, just the most ridiculous things. And it was an
Isn't that
honor.
nonsensical? I mean, that's the kind of
Horrible.
thing where you go, what planet are you on that you think I don't need the port to get the chemo so you don't have to cover it? That's insane.
It is insane. And I found that, I'm kind of like a bull in a china shop. And when you're on the phone with one of the representatives or a patient advocate, I think is what they call themselves, I realized that you can keep asking the same question over and over and over again, particularly if you want to speak to a supervisor and they can't hang up on you. And one time I was on the phone for 20
Oh,
minutes and I said, I really like to speak to a supervisor. Well, they're not. I go, put me to, because plus I didn't want to talk to somebody in the Philippines. And I would beg to speak to somebody in the States because nothing against, what is it, offshore. I just knew if I spoke to somebody in the States, it would be one step closer to getting, a supervisor, in my experience.
oh yeah, I'm sure you're right. I mean, I know that Leighann dealt with essentially taking care of her parents, and I did too. When my mom developed Alzheimer's, and the last 5 years of her life, that was my job. Was taking care of my mom, and of course, that's a thing that happens to a lot of people when they reach a certain age. And dare I say, it's mostly women.
You mean to be clear, mostly women who are caregivers.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, even though Black women do get Alzheimer's in an alarmingly higher percentage, but that's a whole different discussion. There are male caregivers, but I mean, what are we talking? Like like 10%? Like
Maybe.
taking my parents around to appointments, I saw way more women in that role than I did men.
Right.
Because they don't have the capacity.
Yeah.
My dad.
No. They have the capacity. What they don't have is the expectation to do this work.
Interesting. That's spot
Yeah.
on.
Because there are men who farm this off to their wives. So it's daughters-in-laws taking care of their mother-in-laws. So it's like, wait, this is not my mother. How am I doing this? We do not expect men to take on the role of caregiver. It's not a sexy role. It's not a paid role. It is seen as just part of the emotional labor that women do.
Agreed.
Not that I have an opinion.
If you ever do have an opinion, Leighann, please let me know because I'll want to get it on the
I'm going
air.
to give it some thought. I'm going to drink my coffee and have some thought about it.
What you said about Black women having, a propensity for Alzheimer's, Jews are considered the chosen ones and we're chosen for cancer. We have the highest rate of
swell.
all the different, we have, it's called the founder's gene. I found that out during my research and I was like, boy, aren't we lucky? Woohoo!
Yeah, gosh darn it. Why don't I win the lottery? I don't want to win all these other things. I'm tired of that. Now, Marla, do you have siblings?
Yeah, I have a sister who she's in North Carolina. My parents relocated there and they got sick there and they also passed there. And then I have a brother in Rockville Center and he was the money guy because, he's a dude. Of
course. Right.
And
right.
I was in charge of their lives.
Oh, swell. Yeah, that sounds fair. That sounds totally fair.
Mm-hmm.
Oofa. All right. So now I want to get off that and lighten it up a little bit. One of the things that I saw in one of your sets on I think it was on your website, somebody mistook you for Monica Lewinsky.
All the time.
All the time. Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
honey.
Mm-hmm.
You should wear blue dresses at the airport. That's hilarious.
All the time. Somebody asked me for my autograph and I do this joke and it's really how I open up my sets and I write Marla Schultz and they were like, oh, I thought you were Monica Lewinsky. But I have to say she is a rock star because how she was able to surpass bullying on such a level back in the 90s and the fact that she was able to survive and what she has been able to make turn her life around and become such a bully advocate. Props to her.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Also,
true.
a chubby girl back in the 90s landed the president. I was like, wow, there's hope for us.
That also speaks well of him because it's clearly he was attracted to women of all types. Or maybe it speaks badly of him. I can't quite
He
work that one out for
he
myself.
appreciates the female form in all its forms.
There
Yes.
you go. Exactly. Exactly. Now, Leighann, have you ever been mistaken for anyone famous or
Um,
consistently for the same person?
yeah, I get Jada Pinkett Smith
Yes.
quite a bit.
Yes.
Okay.
Years ago, I used to get either one of the twins, the Maori twins, Tia and Tamara. I used to
I
Oh,
get
can see that.
them, and very rarely I used to get Raven Simone.
really?
Yeah,
You know
Oh,
that
what?
again
Actually,
is
I can see that one a little better.
see,
I don't know.
see.
Yeah.
Somebody said Vanessa Williams, and I'm like, thank you, you're high.
no, no. I can see Vanessa Williams. Absolutely.
So it really depends on your frame of reference, what generation you're in, and I see each and every one of those as being compliments, and
Sure.
so I take it.
I was about 35 pounds heavier. And back in like the 90s, I got mistaken for Rosie O'Donnell by a homeless guy after I
Oh,
gave him
wow.
$1. And I said, are you kidding me? Give me my effing dollar back.
Yeah, if
Rosie
I was Rosie O'Donnell, I
O'Donnell.
would have given you a tenner at least. Come on,
Uh,
man. Wow.
that was another
Wow.
way I opened up my set because, as you know, Leighann and Shelly, you just need that quick,
Yeah, I
15
actually
second.
that's one of my closing bits. I close with, and then when I say that, say Jada Pinkett Smith, and it hits them, they're like, "Oh yeah, that's who she looks like."
I have never been mistaken for a famous person, but I am frequently called sir. So
Oh,
that's how I
Wow.
start and end my. Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's the short hair, it's the deep voice, it's the whole thing. Absolutely. Although I did have a neighbor when I was in my teens who said that she thought I looked like Liza Minnelli. And I went, no, I'm sorry. What, we both have big eyes and not much of a chin? Is that what you're going for? And I just, no.
I'm gonna need to hear a show tune or two to
Right.
make that call.
Or see you do a high step off, the stage.
Yeah, a little
Yeah,
glitter.
if I did a high step, it would be falling off the stage. Because I used to be able to dance, but as my orthopedist discovered last week, oh, your knees don't look so good.
Ouch.
Really, really. Yeah, I screwed up
Yikes.
my own knees. I was dancing, so I will give myself that. But I don't have the skeleton. I don't have the body of a dancer. I have the body of a cellist, or a pundit. I am designed to sit in a large chair and be sarcastic. That's what I'm made to do.
I love it.
But I
I
love
love it.
dancing. So, yeah.
I'm
Anyway, so
never going to tell anybody that they look like somebody else because I'm a huge Mary J. Blige fan since back in the 90s. Like, I've seen her, I just saw her at the Barclays Center. Anyway, she did 2 songs and got off. But the point is, I was at a concert and there was this beautiful Black woman. And I said, oh my God, you look just like Mary J. Blige. And she's like, she took it as offense. She goes, I don't look like Mary J. Blige. I look like Halle Berry. And I was like, no, you
okay.
don't. No, you look like Mary J. Blige. And I think Mary J. Blige is a queen. So
Ooh, that's a lot of issues in that response.
you think? But I also get mistaken for like every Jewish, Italian, Mediterranean. I'm always told I look like somebody. And I was at a party and this woman says, oh my God, I thought you were my cousin Diane. And I said, oh, really? I have a very common look. And she goes, no, 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 I have to show you a picture. This chick had a mustache and a hairless. And I was like, okay, thanks. Thanks.
I'm gonna put the positive spin on that to say that from a casting perspective, this gives you a wide range of roles that you can do. Not the lip. I'm saying your look.
Thank you. Well, I auditioned for Amy Schumer 11 times last year, and I'm
You don't
kind of
look
like,
anything like Amy Schumer.
no, for her shows, both shows.
Right. Oh, I
And,
know. I was just being stupid.
it's
And she said
frustrating.
no.
Well, I was like 11 times. And then I worked background on her movie, Kind of Pregnant. And I didn't want to stand next to her because I know her from years ago. and I get placed and I look goofy. They put these like Shirley Temple curls in my hair, and I was just so embarrassed. And I'm standing next to her, and I go, "Hey, Amy, it's Marla Schultz," but she started giving me the hand like she was the Queen of England.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, and I said, "Hey, Amy, it's Marla Schultz." She goes, "Marla Schultz, boy, it's been more than a minute." And I was like, "Oh." 11 times. I just wanted to get in her face. I'm willing to do anything, but it just was a little like my ego got in the way.
Yeah.
It was a
I'm
hard pill
offended
to
for you.
swallow.
I will tell you though, I've been doing background work lately, and apparently that is my niche, because my thing that I get cast as regularly is a nondescript pedestrian. And I am so good at
Me
that.
too.
And this is absolutely true. 4 separate jobs I have been spoken to by a PA or whatever and said, "Excuse me, ma'am, we're filming here."
Wow.
Congratulations.
I'm telling you, one time I went up to, I don't know, they all have like AD, second AD, whatever.
Yeah.
They put you in your spot, and that's everybody go back to your one, and that's where you start walking from whatever.
Yep.
And I went up to this guy and I said, "I'm sorry, I don't have a 1." And he looks at me and he goes, "What?" I said, "No, I'm a extra background. I don't have a 1." And he goes, "Oh, okay." And he sent me across the street, and he goes, "Okay, just go over there, and they'll place you. They'll place you." And I go over to the other PA across the street, and there was that same kind of blank. What are you talking about? I don't. Okay, so I'm just very good at being nondescript. So
Wow.
I'm going to take the win, frankly, and the check. I don't care. I don't care.
Right. I usually bring my car, and then you bring the wardrobe, so you get the bump up to $37.50 and like $1.25. But I worked on Sex and the City, the reboot, which I can't watch, and I was there. I can't watch it. It's like I just can't. And
They should have left the boot off.
Yeah. So they said to me, "Oh, could you be a stand-in?" I was like, "A stand-in? I get a chair. I get a chair to sit in that says stand-in." So I've been bumped up to stand-in, which is,
Sure.
I have to say, I admire both of you. I admire the hustle. If I were slightly more ambitious, I would go back and do background work, because it's not hard. I shouldn't say it's not hard. I don't mean that in any disrespectful way. It is a day of work.
Yeah.
Or several days. And it's like,
Right.
and then you can still go to Starbucks and not be mobbed.
Right. That's so funny.
Well, that's why I do it, because I need the money and I have no ambition whatsoever. So this is not about the hustle. This is about, you want me to not look like anybody in particular? I'm your girl. I will do that for you, or your guy, whatever.
I just remember sitting around a lot when I did it. A lot.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to, I wanted to get SAG credits. I mean, I did a lot of TV when I was in Los Angeles, and I was like top of the C list. Here, it's like I've had so many auditions. Like I said, Amy Schumer 11 times for both shows, and commercials. I've been on hold for 4 nationals, and I didn't get them. But I just want to work towards like a SAG pension, and
that would be good. Yes.
And all I get is positive affirmations, that and being positive on Instagram. And I was talking to this one girl on set, and she's like, "You just have to put it out there." So I keep on thinking they're going to be like, "Oh, let's use her. Can you say blah, blah, blah?" Because I know it's happened to some people. And I'm just trying to be as egoless as possible and work as much as I can,
I just want to go sit and read somewhere and be paid for it while they're waiting to tell me what to do.
I bring my
That's a
laptop.
plus.
I write.
Yeah. I generally have a crossword or something like that. And I have to remember always to bring extra water, because apparently it's a hot commodity, so to speak, or a cold commodity.
Don't they?
Yep.
But don't they provide that on set?
Yeah, but you might be in a spot where they're like, there's nobody around, or you can't get over to the craft thing or whatever.
Got
so
it.
just
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so clearly I'm not going to make my career as a background person unless there's a show about people who look like normal people. In which case, it's me. I'm it.
I look like a normal person.
And yet, who gets cast as the nondescript pedestrian? Shelly does. Over
Shelly,
and
I've
over.
done that too. I've done nondescript. I've been for what do you call it? Law and Order. I was this TSA
Yeah.
cop, and then I was a crime scene photographer. And you bet your ass, I was like between the legs, trying to get on camera. I was like, I'm going to do this.
Right, but
Then
that's
they
what I'm
pull you
saying.
out.
You are cast as something. I am given a coat and a bag and told, walk over there. And I'm not complaining. I promise you I'm not complaining. I just think it's funny that I'm so good at it. They never believe I'm actually,
I
an
love
actor.
that. I think that is hilarious. What is she doing here? Why is she? Oh, okay.
Who let this woman on the set? Anyway, so let's talk about comedy. Leighann, I know that you are doing funny women shows coming up are you going out to Michigan, or was that
I
last
am.
weekend?
I am the
Yeah.
Traverse City Comedy Festival,
Amazing.
April 10th through the 12th. And well, I think our shows for Funny Women is that Saturday. Yeah, Saturday the 12th. We have an afternoon. Well, it's really the 11th to 12th, but we have an afternoon show that Saturday, and then I'm headlining that Saturday night.
Oh,
Of course
nice.
you
Nice.
are.
Everybody in the Funny Women ecosystem are headliners.
Yep.
Most of us. So it's really about, whose turn it is, who's up next, to do that particular show.
And Carol's amazing about that. And I have so much gratitude for her, because I was after my mom and dad passed within like 2 years, just the grief kind of was
Yes.
like a tsunami. And I went back to, for the second time, the Nantucket Comedy Festival. But I was on stage, and I had killed there 5 years ago, and I forgot my act. And I even said it was way, way, way too soon. The grief just robbed me of like
Mm.
cognitive ability of like remembering my set. And Carol just gave me chance after chance. And I credit her for helping me build my confidence back, because, getting on stage, the anxiety hit and I would just forget. And the fact that she's continued to use me, and pretty frequently, she's really amazing.
Yeah.
And yet I still can't get her on the show. I don't know.
And this is
Anyway.
her baby.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But, well, the story that she tells and the story that I tell are slightly different. But basically, I said, hey, how about doing a podcast? And she said, that's a lovely idea, but I don't want to do it. And I said, okay, I'll do it. And she went, fine. And as a result of
Yep.
that, she can be completely invisible and, just stick her little head in occasionally. Carol, I'm just busting your chops. You know that. Anyway, so Marla, what do you have coming up? Are you still doing that TED Talks?
I did it, and then I'm getting back. I've just had, unfortunately, not to be Dolly Downer, I lost a best friend. My dog
Oh,
died
man.
suddenly over the summer, and it's like I'm trying to outrun the wave. And then my aunt, my mom's younger sister, died tragically this month. But because I've done so much work and therapy and taking advantage of anything to help me, things are so much better. And I do have a lot of theater shows coming up, which I'm really happy about. And
Oh, good.
I'm at the comic strip here on the Upper East Side all the time. They've been amazing to me. I just feel like these angels have been here to carry me and uplift me, and just feel like, you just keep doing this, and it's been a
Oh,
soul
good.
saver. Yeah.
Wonderful. So theater shows in the New York area?
Oh my gosh, of course you're going to ask me. Let's see. I know.
No,
Hang on a
you don't
second.
have to tell me if you don't want to.
I am doing a place in Fairfield, Connecticut. It's the Sacred Hearts Theater. That's
Okay.
Oh,
on
nice.
the 27th. I'm in New Jersey sometime in May. I just have to keep looking at my calendar. I have no memory. Thank you, menopause.
Hey, been there.
Yeah, I'm going to be at the Strip a couple of times this month, and
Mhm.
yeah,
I
I'm
have
working.
not been at the
Happy.
Strip since 2020. I feel like the pandemic was my fault. It was the first time in a long time I'd gotten 2 spots in 1 month, and it was in March of 2020, and then the world shut down. And it's like, I'm sorry, America.
Well, at least we have
It was
someone to
me.
blame.
Yeah, but Leighann is everywhere. I mean, she's so multi-dimensional, and I'm not blowing sunshine, but she really is. I mean, Your material is so far removed from like dick jokes. It is so brilliant. And she gets this award and the Irma Bombeck award and this award. I mean, how could you not like judge yourself going, God, I'm such a loser. You see what Leighann Lord is up to? She got another
Yes.
award.
That's
She
what
wrote
I
a
feel
book.
about me all the time. Like it's not, it's not enough. It's like I still walk into Starbucks and they go, and you are? On loan from Dunkin' Donuts. That's who I am.
Uh-uh.
I want to go back to the theater shows though, Marla. Are you
Yes.
is it an hour that you're doing, or are you working with other comics, or what's the breakdown
Oh,
there?
I'm working with other comics. I'm not the only one on the strip, but I'm thrilled that they have just been there and just giving me spots. But that's really the only club. That's the only club because I can't go and kiss ass anymore. It just,
Yes.
just going, hey, how's it going? Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, hi, you're the booker. Oh, and especially if like a 25-year-old says, can you send me some clips? I want to
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
fucking
I am
grab
a
them with my
big
vagina and smack them on the street.
yeah. Like my career is older than the people booking. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But I'm a big proponent of go where the love is.
Correct.
You and I, we were at a different stage in our career. We did the hustling, the running around, and all the but we paid our dues. Although comedy is something where apparently dues continually have to be paid, but at this point, I really do. I don't want to fight with you. You either know my work or you don't. You're
Yeah.
either going to book me or you're not. I don't. You have your favorites, and that's fine. I'm somebody's favorite. I'm at West Side. Seems like all the time it's not, but I'm there a lot, and I feel fortunate that there is a club that digs me and has space for me. I should probably have bigger aspirations, but I save those for the bigger paying gigs.
Yeah.
I'm not going to run around for $25 during the week. It costs me that and more to leave my house.
Right.
So what are we doing?
I was talking to Joey Cola, who is the biggest mensch, and he and I were in acting class, but he works a lot on Long Island. He's just a magnificent human being. And he was telling me that a TikToker who has like hundreds of thousands of followers, they can pack a club. They have no material. And he was saying that at a club on Long Island, that this TikTok person came, did about 5 minutes, went into the audience and was taking selfies with people.
Oh,
and then
wow.
you had another comic open up who did maybe 5 minutes. I mean, they don't have the legs. They don't have the experience to do 15, 20, a half hour. And this kid walks away with what, $20,000-$25,000 because it also speaks volumes of the audience and how they're willing to accept such little talent. I hate to,
it's a low bar. It's a low bar.
So
I mean,
sad.
it's a low bar for what we do as opposed to being a TikToker and showing someone how you open a box, which can I just add here, watching someone open a box and take something out. How is that interesting? I didn't even know there was such a thing as unboxing videos until
unboxing videos.
A
Watching
friend of mine
people eat.
Oh yeah, it's a friend of mine got a butt plug for the first time, and she decided that she was going to do an unboxing video of this. And I went, okay, I have so many issues with this, just off the top. But apparently, it's not, to me, that's completely outre. Why would you do that? But that's because I am old and I don't tick or talk, for that matter.
What is it? What is it, unboxing? You buy something and you open it up?
Yes.
Yeah, you get something delivered and then you turn your camera on and you go, okay, this is the best part. And you slice open the tape and you open the box and people go, I'm going to like and subscribe. And
yes.
What?
Yes. If you go a step further, you're actually doing a review of the product, but you don't even have to do that. Sometimes you can just do an unboxing. Hey, I got this mug, everybody. I opened the box and it's nice, a nice weight, and it keeps the coffee hot, and subscribe.
So people that unbox these things, it's like, why not just be a reviewer on Amazon, which is astonishing.
Because then you're not on camera and you don't get to be cute or whatever the appropriate expression is now.
Well, I listen, I've seen these videos. Folks are not necessarily presenting themselves camera ready. That's
That
that's
doesn't
not a
strike me as a
thing
surprise either.
anymore. Like we're
Wow.
from the generation of, okay, we're gonna be on camera. We gotta like do stuff that no, they don't feel that compulsion at all.
Yeah,
They
see, that's
just
why
show
Wow.
up
this
as they are.
podcast is audio only. Because
Thank
as I
you.
tell everybody, who wants to put on makeup if you don't have to? But apparently now,
Agreed.
Leighann, what you're saying is that you don't have to. People are just
I
doing.
I've I have tried to embrace the way things are now, and I just can't. I'm gonna put on some foundation and some lipstick and act like I am somebody. Like
Okay.
I just can't do it. I don't want to call it playing devil's advocate, but for the TikTok folks or the social media folks who are being booked in our arena, um, I, I think these are two very different things and two very different skill sets. There are people who are doing some hilarious things on social media. Should they be necessarily then put on a stand-up stage? No, because that's a different skill.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so putting them in front of their audience that appreciates what they do is fantastic. And I think it pits us against each other when it shouldn't. But I do feel that resentment of I've spent all this time and all this energy and all my talent developing this, and you're getting how much to do what? Because they're two
Right.
different things. I'm
Right.
not
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
be on the stage at Radio City competing with Bon Jovi. Do you know what I
Right.
mean? It's
Oh, you
different.
could take him. You could totally take him.
Well, at this point, yeah, what do I look like tripping an old man? Come on. But
Can
you
I
know
tell
what I
you?
mean.
Yes.
Absolutely. Do you know what kind of videos I also get, which I don't understand? Calorically inclined women with jiggly, jiggly, jiggly bits in bathing suits and dancing, or like those slimmer things where all of a sudden they have this giant muffin top and then they lift up this thing and then they have an hourglass figure. I
And
Huh.
that's what your algorithm has done to you, girl?
yeah, yeah,
Listen,
yeah, yep,
just start
yep.
watching cat videos. That'll clear that right out.
Okay.
Yes.
Because
In
I
fact, be
see
careful
those
with
and I'm
that.
like, girl, you're
That's
going to need
what
to
I
go see
get.
a doctor. That doesn't look healthy at all.
Not at all. But then again, I also felt that way. That show on NBC, This Is Our Life, and they were, the really heavy woman. Yeah, and they kept on saying, and I forgot the actress, but apparently she was a singer, but she was about 300 pounds. And they were like, she looks fantastic and this and that. But then again, all those diabetes commercials, it's like they're dancing and celebrating that they have diabetes. It's like,
It is a little twisted. Yeah.
it is
Just a
just,
bit.
I do want to suggest to anyone who is trying to change their algorithm, be careful how you do that, because I made the mistake of watching it wasn't exactly a prepper video, but I'm interested in solar energy and stuff like that. And there was this thing that somehow I was watching this video about portable solar panels, so if you go camping or something like that, and I don't camp, don't get it twisted. But if you did, you could use these cool things. And I went, oh, great, that's interesting. Unfortunately, the algorithm or Elon Musk or whoever it was decided that means not only am I a disaster prepper, I am also a
Oh,
conservative. So I'm now getting things that,
yeah.
wow. On the plus side,
Yeah.
on the one hand, know who you're up against, but on the other hand, I don't think I want to see that. No, thank you. No, that makes me a little queasy.
I will say when I was taking care of my parents, they completely messed up my Amazon shopping algorithm because I was buying stuff for them. And so Amazon thought I was a 70-year-old woman.
who
And
needed
it's like,
diapers.
hey, if you like cane tips, maybe you'll like this wheelchair. And I'm like, what? I had to suddenly start looking at a lot of lingerie to sort of balance that out. It was very peculiar for a while.
That's so
I bet.
funny.
I bet. Yeah.
My husband freaks. If I accidentally go onto his account, he comes and he's like, "You've been on my account. You're messing up my algorithm." And I want
Yeah.
to beat him like a baby seal. I'm like, really? That's what you're pissed about?
I have questions that will go unanswered because I'm like, I'm not looking that up on Google. I don't
Smart.
want them to know.
Try
And now
Sure.
I don't.
Go to ChatGPT.
No, I don't think
No.
so. And that makes me feel weird too. I don't want my computer talking to me like it knows me,
I came
Yeah.
home and my husband was having a conversation. I'm like, who are you talking to? He's like, ChatGPT. And I go, is it time to call the loco ambulance and take you
Just
away?
wrap him in a big blanket, and call the authorities.
Oh,
All right, now it
crazy.
is time for a silly question, and I've been thinking about it all day. I can't make up my mind.
Okay.
Marshmallow Peeps, abomination or delicious treat? Marla, Marshmallow
Delicious.
Peeps, any thoughts?
Before I went off sugar, they were delicious treats.
Really? Okay.
Anything sugary. Yeah. I like the caramel Cadbury eggs better if I'm binging on sugar. But yeah, I
Yeah.
was really into Peeps for a long time.
Okay. All right. That's one side heard from. Leighann, abomination or delicious treat?
Um, I've never had one.
Ah,
I've never had the desire to have one. So I guess that puts me closer to the abomination camp because
okay.
I don't you
That holds no appeal for you, huh?
none at all, none whatsoever.
I no longer am when you think about what it is, and if you read the ingredients, which is what I do, it is an
Well, yeah,
abomination.
so now you're messing it up. If
Oh,
you
I'm
read the ingredients
sorry.
on anything, you're not gonna
Right,
like what's
right.
in bacon? Like, yeah, you're not gonna do it.
Oh, that's
That's
another
true.
thing I get on out. It tells me if I eat bacon, hot dog, or a hamburger, how many minutes I lose of my life.
Okay.
Yeah, but are they good minutes though? Because you've
Right.
just had bacon, so ooh, yum.
Well, here's the thing. I've seen what the back end looks like. I don't want to be here till I'm 90. So I'm
Yes.
good losing some time. And the other thing is
Mm,
I'm Gen X. They didn't give a damn about us. We had lead in our toys, carcinogens in our food. I don't even know how we're still here. So
That's
you're not going to
funny.
scare me away with a bad time.
I agree with you. I want to go out after seeing my parents suffer. I just want to be on stage and be like,
Yes.
thank you. Good night. Boom.
Yes. That is exactly how I would like to do it.
Yep.
Now,
Yes. I don't.
my two choices, if I get to choose how to die, either smothered by puppies, live happy
Oh.
puppies, right? Just crushed to death by puppies, or in the cold dark vacuum of space. Because in that nanosecond before my lungs collapse, I would be going, "This is so cool."
That's really
Sadly, I don't think I'm
cool.
going to get either of those choices.
I
Yeah,
like both of those choices. I throw in some kittens for
yeah.
good measure.
I'm allergic.
Mm,
Well,
I pick the
then you go
dogs.
quicker.
that's
No,
true. The kittens.
my husband is a big space guy. Like I come home and he's watching, I call it plane porn. It's like disasters because he wants to be prepared, like we're going to survive a plane crash. So
Okay.
he's really into space stuff. So I think he might join you on your journey, Shelly.
Oh, good. I can put this out there so that it's public record. In my will, it says that I'm going to be cremated and my remains are going to be sent to the moon. That's what I want.
Awesome.
And
You're bragging that you're so prepared you have a will. I love it.
no, I am bragging that I had parents who were so afraid of everything that, of course, I have a will.
Wow.
I have one.
Okay. Yeah, no. Chicky here's dragging her feet. You know what it was? I was so super hyper prepared with my parents. I was literally just cleaning this up yesterday. I have all their paperwork. I knew all their prescriptions. I knew their doctors. I knew their social security numbers. And I went from spinning 3 lives to barely able to manage mine. And
Yeah.
that's how my grief manifested, Marla. I just couldn't get it together. And so I'm finally going, hey, I should do some grown-up stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. Who's going to get to take care of Sir if you were to, expire
I
before your
probably
time?
have more plans for him than I do for me.
Okay. Well, then you're not completely unprepared.
Right. No,
Right,
I've
but
got the cat taken care of.
But Leighann, you should really, that healthcare proxy and name somebody.
I had surgery a few years ago, and my parents weren't real. They were here, but they weren't here, and I had to put somebody's name down. I'm like, you know what? Life gets serious real fast when you got to name the motherfucker who gets to pull the plug. Like,
Exactly.
like who is that?
So
You know what I
funny.
mean? It's like, okay, I had coffee with you, but are we real? Do you know what I mean?
Leighann, that's hilarious. But I always thought Leighann was so lucky. Her father was such a magnificent gentleman. And he reminded me of Harry Belafonte. Like he had that kind of class and that kind of aura. And he would come with Leighann on her gigs. And I loved talking to him. And I meant to tell you that a long time ago.
I
Oh,
cannot
that's
tell you
lovely.
when I go. Thank you so much, Marla. Whenever I go to like industry events, like the Gotham Christmas party or something like that, somebody will come up to me and tell me a story about my dad that I may or may not have known, or some remembrance, or just something like that about how special he was, or how, because he started going to shows without me. He didn't need me to be on the show. He was just out there in the comedy community. I remember I showed up to Caroline's. I had a show one night. My dad had already gotten there, and security just let him in because they knew who he was. And they were like, "And you are?" I'm like, "I'm the show."
I'm Mr. Lord's daughter,
Yeah, exactly. I was like,
Jada
"Oh yeah,
Pinkett.
okay, come on in, come on in."
I'm
But
his
no,
plus
like
one.
he really was that dude. It like, it
Yeah.
wasn't faked or forced or whatever. He loved comedy. He loved young people. He loved being in the scene. He loved supporting me, but not just me, everybody who he met. He was just really that into it. So I
Yep.
thank you, Marla. I do love hearing those stories about
Yep.
him.
He
And
was
he
great.
was that guy. He
He
was a great
really,
guy.
That's
really
wonderful.
was. And he remembered my name.
Of course.
He was just so, you're so lucky.
That's a
My
lot, you
dad
know?
saw me once in 1995. That was it when I first started.
That's,
Wow.
that's important. If somebody remembers your name, that's big time. That's big time. So I want to stop at that point because it's a lovely story to end with, but I just want to give you both an opportunity to promote something, anything you want to promote. What's coming up for you, Leighann, other than the
Well,
Michigan show?
other than the Michigan show, if you want to see where else I will be, folks, I am often at least once a month, sometimes twice, at West Side Comedy Club. If you are not on the getting up and getting out vibe here in New York City, I am now writing on Substack. I would love for you to join me there. I call it like it's OnlyFans for writers. So it's a great community. Best place to find me, where I'm doing some of my best stuff right now. But veryfunnylady.com is where you can find out where I will be at a place near you.
That's the easiest way to do it. And Marla is literally checking her calendar right now, pen in hand, going, wait, okay, this one and then that one. Do you have red strings between all of your shows too? Does
No,
it look like
I wish. Okay, so I'm at the comic strip here in New York City on April 8th, April 15th, April 17th, and I think April 29th.
okay.
Well, tell Tommy I said hello.
You tell Tommy you say hello. You
I
write
done.
to him.
I texted Tommy, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you only send me weekend avails." I'm like, "Cause I'm a weekend comic. That's why I send you weekend avails."
Yes.
So I
You
started sending
tell
them
him.
weekday avails, and then I get even more silence. I'm like, "Okay, I see what's happening here. I'm not your
Take that,
favorite."
Tommy.
Yeah, but
All
you got
right.
the
So,
big shows, Leighann, on the weekend. So
Okay.
you do.
yeah. All right. Okay. So, Tommy, if you're listening, get Leighann on during the week, and let's get Marla on at West Side also. And you know what? Somebody book me, for God's sake, somewhere,
How about
anywhere. I
that?
really don't care at this point. So check out Marla Schultz. Your website is
MarlaSchultz.com, and Instagram is really what I'm on the most. It's the official Marla Schultz at Instagram.
the official Marla Schultz. Okay, got it.
Yes,
Leighann
that's
Lord,
what it is.
veryfunnylady.com, because kind of amusing chick was taken. Right.
There you
Okay.
go.
And check out www.funnywomenofAcertainage.com to get lists of all the shows and to look at video, because the Funny Women of Certain Age specials are now available on various platforms. They're on YouTube. They're on Amazon, I think,
Amazon Prime Video, Google Play, and Apple TV.
and Apple TV. Fantastic. So
Yes.
now you have no excuse to not watch
None.
them, because they're everywhere. Just close your eyes. They'll be on the inside of your eyelids any minute. I guarantee it. So everybody, thank you very much. Thanks, Leighann. Thanks, Marla. I'm glad we could
Thank
finally
you.
get a hold of you and get you on the show. And that's it. People of Earth, this is Shelly Colman. Everybody say bye. Bye.
Bye.